Okay, we're going to talk about the one behavior of female insecurity triggered by men. This is what men do to women to trigger this insecurity. But are you aware of it? Most likely you are. Can I share with you why dating sucks? Dating sucks because we can't read another person's mind. Let me repeat that. We can't read another person's mind. We rely on their words and their actions to determine their trustworthiness. And one of the challenges in dating today, because oftentimes we're meeting total strangers, we don't have enough information. We don't have enough words. We don't have enough actions to really determine if someone is trustworthy, if what they're saying to you actually is a genuine reflection of what they feel about you. What's interesting was the other day I was watching a movie on Netflix called Burn After Reading. Burn After Reading. It's got a lot of great stars, including Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And there's a scene where George Clooney is having a conversation with a woman she's having an affair with, and he's also married as well. And it turns out that the woman is about to get a divorce, and she wanted to determine if he was on board with that, if he would also get a divorce from his wife. And she wanted some reassurance from him. By the way, she's a domineering person, so it isn't 100% reflective of this conversation. But why I'm bringing this up is I was fascinated at George Clooney's reaction. His acting was brilliant. His manipulation, his gaslighting, his twisting the words, trying to, and you could see it in his face. He doesn't want to be with her, but he certainly gave her all the clues verbally that he wanted to be with her. And so, to some degree, this is acting, it's master manipulation. But I think what happens for a significant percentage of men is that they don't know what they want. And that's what was the case with George Clooney. He didn't want anything serious. He didn't even know what he wanted. He was playing the field. He was on the dating sites. And I know this relates to infidelity. It doesn't necessarily relate to this topic per se, but the point is, he wasn't clear on what he wanted. When someone isn't clear on what they want, they can actually trigger insecurity in another person. So what's interesting is several of my contemporaries got married and in their 30s, whether it was Matthew Hussey, who recently got married, Matt Boggs, who's been married for a decade, or even Evan Mark Katz. These were all men who got married. They're dating and relationship coaches for women. Why I'm bringing this up is they had a clear intention. These young men were seeking a wife. They were seeking a wife. They weren't confused about what they wanted, just like in the scene where George Clooney is. You could see he's visibly confused. He has no certainty going on. These men were clear that commitment exceeded their desire for connection and sex. I'm going to repeat that. Commitment exceeded their desire for connection and sex. And while their desire, I suspect, I can't read their minds, their desire for connection and sex is important, but their desire for commitment exceeded that. See, the challenge for those of us in midlife, the significant percentage of men and women in midlife are divorced. In midlife, folks are confused. They're rather confused. They just went through a significant relationship that ended. And now they're in the dating marketplace and they want that connection. They want that companionship. They want that sex, but they're rather confused whether or not they want commitment. They're not on the search for a spouse, like those men I was talking about. And when they're confused about what they want, guess what happens? Their actions and their words can be misleading. Their actions and their words can be confusing. Their actions and their words might be all over the map. Their actions and words create mixed signals. And because of this, it can create insecurity in a woman. See, a person needs reassurance. Just like in the scene where Burn After Reading, that woman wanted some reassurance that George Clooney was going to be on the same page with her if she got a divorce. We all want some level of reassurance. And to some degree, our need for constant reassurance might be because we have what's known as an anxious attachment style. If you're not familiar with the book Attached by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller, I would highly recommend reading this book if you find yourself that you get anxious for the need of reassurance. Oh, by the way, all the books I recommend are listed below in the Jonathan Recommend books in the show notes, okay? Most likely you have an abandonment wound in your life. Anxious people typically have an abandonment wound. And our need for constant reassurance is because we don't feel safe in a relationship. And by the way, I can relate because I tend to be I think my default is an anxious attachment style. Although I've acted avoidant in relationship as well. I don't think we're just one thing. I think we shift in and out of those feelings when we don't feel secure within ourselves, when we're lacking a sense of self-love. It's one of the reasons why I wrote a book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? A Journey of Personal Development, Self-Help, and Spiritual Work. It's listed below my book. And by the way, self-love is a place we never get to fully. It's a journey. It's an experience. It's an opportunity to heal our wounds and our traumas, emotionally speaking, so we can regulate our nervous system, so we can manage life with a bit more joy, a bit more happiness. But coming back to the anxious person, that constant need for reassurance might be something you have to explore within yourself. That's why getting all of the books I recommend will pay dividends for healing within yourself. But there's one area that doesn't get enough attention that I want to draw attention to today. And that is, see, the title is The #1 Female Insecurity Triggered by Men. I think the lack of direction, the lack of desire, the lack of intentionality from men can trigger fear from another human being. Let me repeat that. That lack of direction, that lack of desire for commitment, that lack of intentionality in the dating process can trigger a need for reassurance, even to an emotionally healthy person or relatively emotionally healthy person. I'm here to say it's not needy to request clarity. So whenever you've been told, if you ask, where's this relationship going, or you have a desire to ask where this relationship is going, and you've been told that's needy behavior by the person you're in relationship, it's not fair to another human being to be confused about your feelings and not share that confusion, not to share that uncertainty. The problem with this is that demonstrates weakness. We are all so conditioned to be so confident and strong in the dating process. If a man isn't confident, I will dump him in a second. I've heard this before from ladies. I'm going to tell you something. Men are riddled with insecurity, doubts, uncertainty. Do you know why it's called dating? It's because it was originally called holy fucking shit. Trying to figure out another human being is daunting or is crazy. They replaced that with dating. Dating is an intentional process. Well, let me reframe that. Dating is a getting to know you process. But more importantly, what is dating? Dating is, well, it's a getting to know you process. The problem is it lacks intentionality. It lacks clarity because most humans don't know how to go inward to really establish their feelings for another person, because we can be so confused. We can be so all over the map. We can be like a roller coaster when it comes to recognizing our feelings for another human being. This is why I'm here to encourage radical honesty, laying your cards on the table, and the rules of engagement. Now, what is radical honesty? Radical honesty is about being vulnerable. It's about being authentic. It's about being transparent to the best of your ability. Let me repeat that. It's about being vulnerable. It's about being authentic. It's about being transparent to the best of your ability to another human being. That's radical honesty in Jonathan's book. And by the way, I even have a coffee mug. I don't know if you can see that. It says radical honesty. By the way, I've got a little shop there. If you want to get my cup, I would go down below to get my cup of radical honesty. The second, laying your cards on the table. You know, this is the opportunity where couples should actually share about their past relationship experiences from a truly emotional perspective. See, remember I said earlier in this conversation, most everybody is a stranger? How do we get to know a stranger? By hearing their story, by hearing their life from the time they were born till the time you met them. Hearing their story, understanding their story. But Jonathan, I'm just told to sit back in my feminine energy and let a man lead. And when a man tells me he doesn't want to share his backstory, I should just accept that because he's a private person. Folks, that's bullshit. We need this information, just like a resume when you're about to hire someone. We need to know their backstory. We need as much information as possible because remember I said earlier, everybody is a stranger. When someone's a stranger, we don't feel safe. Do you remember the term stranger danger? And it fascinates me how quickly two people will get physically intimate with one another to a person they barely know. And I am so guilty of this. I am so guilty of chasing lust and limerence instead of really genuinely getting to know another human being. So laying our cards on the table requires a real deep investigation of their past experiences so we can understand how this person operates, so we can create a level of emotional safety with another human being. By the way, please forgive my tone. I know my tone is a bit angry, and I'm going to share something later about this. I'm just very passionate, and my yelling is merely just it's designed to wake people up. Okay. Radical honesty, laying your cards on the table, and most importantly, the rules of engagement. What are the rules of engagement? Folks, I think it's time to be radically intentional in the dating process instead of this attraction, romance-based way of dating where a man, all he has to do is be romantic and you'll drop your drawers for him. I think romance should be reserved for those couples who are in a relationship, not as an entry point into a relationship. So laying your cards on the rules of engagement is to be crystal clear. What is the outcome we want to achieve with getting to know each other? What is the outcome we want to achieve to getting to know each other? What is the outcome we want to achieve in getting to know each other? Folks, you know my narrative. I'm looking for a relationship where we spend on average 3 or 4 days and nights a week together, doing shared activities, hobbies, mutual interest, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in our personal and our professional life, intimacy, both physical and emotional intimacy that leads to either moving in together or getting married. That's the rules of engagement. That's the standard. Your rules of engagement is the standard that you seek in a relationship, and are you both on the same page? Jonathan, that just sounds like you're interviewing someone. Folks, I don't believe in interviewing. I believe in interrogating another human being. That's what I believe. You should interrogate each other. By the way, if you want to do it in a friendly way, do you see this link right here, jonathanasley.com/coaching, or the links below? To schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. You know what amazes me is women who go through this work of learning how to get to know another human being from an intentional perspective put their odds so much more in their favor, because I've observed so many women and men have a broken picker. They just don't know how to pick the right person. Partially because you don't know. Here's the thing, ladies. Remember I said earlier, what's their intention? What's their motive? Do they have a short-term mating strategy or a long-term mating strategy? Do they operate from a conscious perspective, or do they operate from an unconscious need for connection and sex without any real intention for commitment? Because that need, your need for clarity, is not insecurity. It's not insecurity. You are not an insecure person for needing clarity from another human being, because we can't read another person's mind. We don't know what they're really thinking, and their actions and words can be so all over the map because they don't know what they want. It's why it's a clusterfuck out there. It's why it's a sea of dysfunctionality. My intent is just to be a wake-up call. That's what I'm here to do, is at least encourage operating from a different perspective, instead of the men are the provider, protectors, and masculine energy. Divine masculine is all you need. And ladies, you just sit in your divine feminine, because polarity is how the two of you are going to work out together. If he's in his divine masculine and you're in your divine feminine, it's going to magically work out. You know, in my mind, it is so ridiculous to listen to those narratives, especially masculine and feminine energy. And let me share with you why. Do you know what's more radically, okay, this is just my perspective, but you know what's more radically strong? Not masculine or feminine energy. Do you know what's radically stronger? Love energy. Love energy. Love energy. When you're operating from a heart-centered based way of love. If you haven't read the book, If the Buddha Dated, it throws out the bullshit gender rhetoric. And it says, how can we love from a heart-centered way? By the way, links below to get a copy of the book I recommend. It is not needy. It is not insecure for wanting clarity from another human being. And the problem with our dating landscape today is we don't talk enough about our emotions. We don't talk enough about our feelings, other than our feelings for physical desire. When a guy comes on so strong, we call it love bombing. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so wonderful. I see us getting married. Let's have sex together. And then all of a sudden, the minute he ejaculates, he disappears. There was no trust built. Folks, do you realize it takes 100 hours of face-to-face time just to build the first layer of trust? It takes 200 hours of face-to-face time to build the second layer of trust. It takes 300 hours of face-to-face time to build the third layer of trust. But Jonathan, I'm in a long-distance relationship. All we have is the phone, and all we do is text each other incessantly. Folks, that is just an unhealthy dopamine hit. Just like cocaine or sugar. It's an addiction. The challenge with long distance dating is you need to be physically in each other's presence, doing a variety of different things like social activities, hobbies, mutual interests, seeing a person in different circumstances to see how they operate with you. And more importantly, talking about your feelings when you're in each other's presence, instead of this dependent need on technology to connect with one another. The number one behavior of female insecurity triggered by men is their lack of clarity creates uncertainty. And that uncertainty creates neediness. But I'm here to say it is not needy to desire clarity. And you should never be ashamed of that. And you are not insecure because you desire clarity. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know. If it is, post a comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I do my best to read them all in the first 24 hours. If you found value in this video, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos as well. And if you want to connect with me directly, there's links below to schedule a discovery call with me. It's free. To join my group called Midlife Love Mastery, to follow me on Instagram, to get the books I recommend, to get my dating vows, or join my mailing list, all listed below. All right, those who know my live format know it's time for Q&A. If you have a question, write the word question or post the question thereafter. or you can purchase a super sticker, super chat. There's a little $ in the chat box. All the monies from the super sticker, super chat goes to a scholarship fund in the name of my son, Connor Asley. That's a picture of him right there. He's my son who passed away 6 years ago this week. And in his honor, we donate to causes like the Hoffman Process Insight Institute and scholarships to coaching as well. And our goal today is $50. So I'd appreciate some love for the Connor Asley Scholarship Fund. All right. And if you want to join me on the hot seat, you can click this link as well. You can join me live. So folks, while I'm waiting for questions, I want to share something with you all that's rather personal. Okay. And I was journaling, excuse me, the other day. And the title of the journal is There's an Anger in My Coaching. There's an anger in my coaching. And I want to read you what I wrote in my journal, because I wonder if anyone else is feeling the same way. If anyone else is feeling the same way. There's a bit of anger in my coaching. I'm angry at emotional pain and suffering, but worse, I'm angry at feeling like a victim, which causes me to be angry at victim consciousness. I'm angry that I'm weak emotionally and physically. I'm furious when I witness others who claim that self-love is so simple, as if just do it is all that is needed. So many humans are suffering on the inside, experiencing a distressing lack of self-love, self-worth. And yet there are coaches out there who present a front of security, and all you have to do is follow my course and you'll be like me. Or do what I did and you'll have the relationship of your dreams. Do what I did and you'll have the relationship of your dreams. Sure, they'll share their sad story of how they overcame a challenge, but so little is known about truly identifying and healing childhood wounds or adult traumas. Deep inner work can take decades to release the emotional scars built up by years and years of pain. Inner work is not for the faint of heart. And I'm angry at the ads that claim all you have to do is take my course and you'll be free from pain. I'm angry I don't have all the answers. I'm angry that I'm scratching the ant's belly to basic awareness. I'm angry I felt so scared as a child. I'm angry Connor passed away. I'm angry that my book doesn't go deeper. I'm angry that she ended the relationship. I'm angry I feel so alone. I'm angry that sometimes the emotional pain I experience is overwhelming. I'm angry at myself if my anger in the way I present my thoughts publicly causes anyone emotional pain. I'm angry at my naivety, my ambivalence, or my arrogance. I'm angry that self-love is so hard. If my tone has ever caused you pain, I sincerely apologize. I'm human and I'm going through my stuff. A coach is merely a guide. We don't have all the answers. My job is to offer perspective and challenge those to see things through a different lens. Folks, I share this with you all to ask, do you feel fear? Do you feel pain? Have you felt loss? Have you felt grief? Have you been angry, depressed? Have you had challenges accepting the loss of the ending of a treasured relationship? This work, self-love work, is not for the faint of heart. This requires some deep introspective work. And why is this so critically important in respects to the dating, mating, and relating conversation? Is because dating and relationships trigger one of our top wounds of I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not likable. When the ending of a relationship that you really cared for when you were in love with someone and that person ends the relationship, that's an emotionally traumatic event. And you can't just whisk it away and say, just let it go. And there's so many coaches out there selling that all you have to do is this program. I'm here to say self-love work takes decades. It is not something you can go to one workshop and get a little, peel one layer of the onion. You can go to another workshop and peel another layer of the onion. You could buy someone's course and peel another layer. This is not easy work, and it's challenging because we so deeply as humans want to be connected with other human beings. And yet we're afraid. And for those of us in midlife, it's even more challenging because many of us have gone through the traumatic emotional effects of a divorce and the unraveling of the tapestry of our life with another human being and reintegrating to our own sovereignty is really hard work. I don't care what anybody else says to you. And the only reason, part of the reason why I'm angry is because nobody prepared us for this shit. Our parents didn't know any better. All they cared about was making sure you had food and water and a roof over your head. Emotional providing for is something that we're just beginning to scratch the ant's belly of understanding. And we're grasping on things like attachment style and anxious and avoidant and protecting ourselves from narcissists and all the masculine and feminine. There's all this rhetoric out there. There's all this noise. It's so confusing to try to really look in the mirror and say, what's going on inside of me? Folks, I'm just a person on a journey, and I'm just passing on information as I learn it for myself. I'm like the oncologist who has cancer, and I'm navigating the chemotherapy and the radiation and the change in diet so I can live a few more years with a bit of peace and happiness. And I'm just sharing what I learned with you. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm a flawed human being, and yet many of you will criticize me. Oh my God, I get criticism from people. I'm not here to say I'm emotionally, the epitome of what you should be seeking out there. I am not professing that one bit. But what I would do in a romantic relationship, unlike what I shared earlier in this broadcast, I'm going to do my best to be radically honest, lay my cards on the table, and establish my standards, the rules of engagement, because that to me is one of the highest forms of integrity in a romantic relationship. When you can be vulnerable, when you can be authentic, when you can be transparent, when you share from your past so a person can truly get to know you at a heart-centered level, when we operate from love energy instead of the dating rhetoric out there that is so confusing for many of you. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating with you? Please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. By the way, I want to give props to first Debbie for the $20 super sticker. I appreciate your love. Thank you, Debbie, so much. And Betty for the $20 $19.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. That means we got 10 more dollars to go. Debbie also said, beautifully said, thank you. Julie says, we have all felt those feelings. Vladanka, how do you get fear? How do you free yourself from fear? It is so, first, I'm just going to share with you from my perspective is first, looking back to your childhood, going back to, if you can, even through some sort of regression therapy or hypnotherapy, is maybe identifying the first time you even felt fear and recognize, through hypnotherapy, you can go back and develop an awareness of where fear began being established in your life. Folks, not too long ago, I was remembering my first day in high school. Does anyone remember their first day in high school? Mine would have been in the 70s, the mid 70s. Well, no, late 70s, excuse me. I'd never been on the campus before, and I had to find my classrooms. And I was so lost, and I was by myself because I didn't go to school with anyone else. I walked to school by myself. And I was so scared. God, it makes me cry right now. I was so scared because I didn't know where my classroom was. This gigantic school compared to middle school. And when I say I was scared, I don't mean that from a place of weakness. It was like so uncomfortable to be lost. It's one of the reasons why I struggle with traveling, because I'm in unfamiliar places. And this wound happened from high school, most likely, or even before that. It took me, there was no orientation for us. My son, when, it's funny, Colin was an orientation. He was a senior giving orientation to freshmen to help them. You ever been to Whole Foods or some grocery store and you're looking for something and the person will walk you to the aisle? Like, I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have anyone walking me through anything. Do you realize how scary it is to grow up in an environment where you just don't know where your classroom is, as an example? So how do we heal that? First is a ton of love and forgiveness. Love and forgiveness. My anger is I was so scared, as I said earlier, and I forgive myself. Forgiveness is the powerful antidote. And what forgiveness is think about the words forgive, forgiving love. That's what forgiveness is forgiving love. You give yourself love. That's why it's called self-love, is to nurture yourself and say, you know what? You did the best you could. And you start peeling the onion, peeling the onion, peeling the onion. And maybe through that process, you develop a little bit more clarity. And clarity breeds confidence, and confidence leads to better choices. Badanka, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Julie says, I was devastated when my 5.5-year relationship ended. I went to psych hospital due to the stress and no sleep. I'm still angry at him. I'm doing good. I'm independent and I don't need a man. When you can reach a state of gratitude, I believe, when we can let go of our anger for another human being. I'm not angry at my previous relationship for ending the relationship. I'm not angry at her. I'm angry that I miss the experience. That's what I'm angry at. I'm angry at that I miss the experience of regular companionship, regular sex, regular connection. I'm angry at that. But I'm not angry at the person. So I invite you, Julie, to let go of your anger for that person if you can. Debbie says, you give us truth and you have been where we have. I get it. I've been where I'm still where many of you are at. Okay. Melissa says, this is very much resonating. I'm 55 and in a relationship for 2.5 years. I'm still learning about my boyfriend, trying to get some clarity. His dad just passed away and now he's caring a bit for his mom. Yeah, that's the difference in midlife, is we're getting pulled in different directions. This isn't easy. Hey, Michelle Fay just gave us a $20 $19.99 super sticker. So, hey, that's $60. So our goal for the balance of the day is $100. That means we're $40 away. Mystic Tarot card says, yes, Jonathan, agreed. I heard something while recovering from crisis, and I heard, stop this victim mentality. I cried. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. Still here fighting. You are too. Mystic Tarot card says, I just saw a relationship coach saying to combine resources to prove your love. That's what I did when I was pregnant with cancer. I guess the ex got scared, emptied the accounts. It's the tricky piece when we give our heart to someone, when we trust someone. I do believe in separate joint accounts, okay? Even married people should have separate joint accounts. Sarah says, thank you for sharing your personal thoughts about people accusing you of being angry. I think it's inspiring when you show your emotion. Don't change, please. Thank you so much. Hey, does anyone want to join me on the hot seat? We can talk about this. I just posted a link right there. By the way, do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Folks, I've been processing the ending of my relationship for almost a year now, because it ended almost a year ago. Why I'm saying I'm sharing this, I process it because I don't desire that person back. I mean, I have care for that person, but I don't desire that person back. I don't have any anger or animosity towards her. I miss the company. I miss the support. I miss the fun of going to Costco together shopping. I miss being vulnerable with someone. And I think the real challenge I'm faced with is I haven't even remotely met someone that I feel like I want to open up to. The dating process with strangers is rather scary. Let's be clear here. Most of the time, you're meeting a total stranger. And there's this ridiculous expectation that men must climb to the highest room of the tallest tower. Men must do this to prove their worth. I don't need to fucking prove my worth to any other human being other than maybe myself. Okay? I don't need to prove my worth to someone, nor should a woman have to prove her worth. Attraction is a tricky thing. And as we age, we're not what we used to look like in our 20s and 30s. And yet most people are dating with eyes of 20 and 30-year-olds. We want someone in great shape with no wrinkles, with their hair, full head of hair that's preferably not gray. It's scary because we've got walls up. That's the biggest problem right now, is that people have walls up because they're not clear as to what they want. It's confusing for you ladies because men aren't clear, and it's confusing us men because you have so many walls up. You've been hurt, or worse, you have these grand expectations of what I'm supposed to do to prove my worth to you. That is fucking overwhelming and daunting to deal with this because we're not connecting at a truly heart-centered base way of dating. That's my rant, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Melissa just posted. How do I quell the fear of being alone in life and my relationship doesn't work out? You don't quell the fear, you face the fear. You don't ever quell a fear. Quelling a fear is stuffing the fear. You face it fucking head on. You experience the fear. You feel the fear. It's the monkey mind that goes and ruminates over it. That's what you should work on. Shift the story, shift the narrative. It's raining great men, it's raining great women, it's raining great men, it's raining great women, it's raining great people in my life. That's one way of doing it. Rose says men can't even be relied upon with a friends with benefits these days because they need to make sure that they don't have any emotional hold on you, even without being in a relationship with you. If you're agreeing to friends with benefits, you know, it's like, look, if you're going to play with, don't do the crime if you ain't going to do the time, as said in the TV show Miami Vice. If you're entering into it, I mean, you can hope for transparency, but if you're going to play with fire, then you got to be willing to accept the consequences. It's not men's fault that they want to create emotional distance with you. That's the whole point of friends with benefits. It's about, I don't want to get emotionally involved with you. I just want to fuck you. Lily, isn't anger an emotion that lets us know that certain boundaries have been crossed? Can't anger be channeled into something positive? No. My son died. I'm angry. Does that mean a boundary was crossed? No boundary was crossed there. I'm angry that he's not here. I'm angry. Anger, I'm angry at myself every time I crucify myself. I'm angry at myself. Now, that might be a boundary of crossing the boundary of self-love, but no, anger is just an emotion. You don't have to necessarily label it other than it's just a feeling. Can anger be channeled into something positive? You know, emotional release work, beating the shit out of a pillow. I'm pissed, I'm pissed, I'm pissed. Releasing the anger from your body is something that can be done. Absolutely. But my opinion about anger, look at, it's not that someone did something to you always. It's about your feeling about what happened. That's what anger is. It's just an emotion and a feeling. And by the way, anger lets us know that there's something inside of us that's hurting. That's what anger does, is it's telling us something inside of us is hurting. Debbie says, F-bomb. I live for Jonathan's passion. Thank you so much. Sue Baker says, courage is not the absence of fear. It's having the fear and doing it anyway. I agree. Michelle wants to say, thanks for this, Jonathan. I lost my partner last year to 12 years of serious medical problems. I'm starting to figure out what to do in this current fucked up environment. Anger is real. I said, I'm angry my book didn't go deeper. Now that my book is out, folks, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many holes to it. There's so many things missing. It's why I'm in the process of writing a new book, but I'm angry at myself. Damn it, I should have known better. Is that a fair anger towards me? I don't know. Just something I'm feeling. By the way, if anyone wants to join the hot seat, I just posted a link again. Julie is back in the house and she says, question, how do I get over the anger from my ex burning my old pictures of my school days? Parents, pageants, wedding. He cheated on me. He talks shit about me. What would you do? You know, let's understand what's going. This is what I would do. Why is he doing this? He's angry. He's angry at something. And he's demonstrating his anger in a very inconsiderate way. He's bleeding on you because he's angry. What's the cause of his anger? I don't know. Maybe just like I was sharing with you publicly, I'm angry at myself. Maybe he's angry at himself. First, I would invite you to start understanding that his actions come from a very wounded place. Hurt people hurt other people. And I'm sorry you've experienced this, Julie. I'm sorry that this person was in your life. Sometimes shitty things happen and we have to just live with it. But I invite you to love yourself. I invite you to love on yourself so much, and don't focus on his actions. Focus on loving on yourself, because all you can do is hug yourself through this experience. But if you're focused on him, you're giving him your power. That's my recommendation. It's not fair what he did, but hurt people hurt people. That's just a fact of life. Sometimes we're the experiencing of that. And I'm just inviting you to love yourself even more. Sue Baker says, Jonathan, I encourage you for you in a second book to go deeper. I'm going to do my best to go deeper in my second book. Oh, Rose says, no, I think you misread my comment. Some men want to make you emotionally attached, even though they only want. Oh, I got it. Oh, I misunderstood your friends with benefits question. Yeah, people are thirsty for emotional connection, but their capacity to fully commit to another human being might be limited. We are in such uncertain times in an emotional place, and all of these therapists and all of these people who studied and everything, they're just scratching the ant's belly. Even fucking Freud and Jung was scratching the ant's belly of understanding all the layers of programming that happen, or even our generational trauma. We are just scratching the ant's belly. because we have generations of programming through our DNA and through our life experience and our imprinting and our adult life. I think anyone who claims that they know this shit backwards, forwards, inside and out, in my mind is full of shit. I think we're still we've just, humans only use 5% of their brains. I think we are such infants today. Maybe we have to reach that level of Spock in Star Trek. And I think that's even just one layer. All he did was repress his emotions. Captain Kirk at least was fun. He was emotional. I was watching Star Trek yesterday as well. I don't know. I've got my bug up my butt to watch an episode of Star Trek. It was the one where they go to a planet and they meet Apollo, the sun god. Mystic Tarot card wants to say anger can be channeled into different energies. It's how you aspire to share an artist, create, athletes perform. And Jonathan, I saw a boxing apparatus that plays music when you hit it. This is where I channel my anger. It's through my passion of being a wake-up call for human beings. Thank you so much. Claudia says, Jonathan, it's true. Hurt people are empty. I don't know if they're empty. I just think they're hurting. I don't think they're empty. I just think they're hurting. That's all. Lisa says the world is not black and white. It's gray and messy, and you have to continue learning about yourself and healing yourself and growing each and every day or every single day. Tammy is in the house, and she has a question. I'm so confused on how dating apps work. Can you tell me why someone matches with me? I start a conversation and they don't respond at all. Why did they like me in the first place? Oh my God. I am both guilty of doing that and I have been on the receiving end of that. Sometimes we swipe just because it's a dopamine hit and we wanted to know that the other person liked us. I would say 80% of the time when someone doesn't respond, they just wanted to know that they were liked by another human being. And that's the only need they had in that moment. A lot of times I don't respond because, at least for Bumble, is the first question. No offense, just didn't have any depth. And I just don't know how to, when someone asks, how's your day going? You know what I respond now when they say, how's your day going? I respond, I'm in a funk. How's your day going? And by the way, and then they ghost me after that. But I just say that just to see their level of humanity. Do you know, the other day, there was a man lifting a box here at the complex I lived in, and it looked like he needed help. And I said, do you need help? Total stranger. Do you need help? We treat people on dating apps below like they're enemies. We treat them with less reverence than because when someone says I'm in a funk, we could give a little bit of love in that moment. I'm really sorry you're feeling that way. That sucks. Do you need a hug? Can I send you a hug? See, and I say, by the way, I do this now because I can't stand, hi, how's your day going? I'm sorry. This is my judgment. This is my anger coming out. This is my, my flaw, if you will. But I just want to, I'm testing a person just to see how they respond. And by the way, most men and women fail this test because they don't know how to because we are so afraid to be loving in this medium because everyone's a stranger. Anyways, that's my perception anyway. Thank you, Julie. I hope that helped. Or excuse me, Tammy, I hope that helped. I believe we have to love ourselves and we know we are okay alone. The God loves us and prays to God for a good companion. If we truly want one, ask the higher power to lead us to the right path. God, universe, spirit, I invite everyone who's watching this, whether a man or woman, that they meet somebody where the chemistry is off the charts and they feel an affinity for another human being. And the communication between them is so effortless and free, and the banter can go on for hours and hours at a time, and the curiosity to want to get to know each other is so abundant that it takes a lifetime to truly get to know another human being. and they can blend lives together with one another so they can build the deep roots of trust through social activities, hobbies, mutual interests, and they share the same values with one another, and they're both emotionally mature with one another to build that healthy, happy, juicy, delicious relationship. God, universe, spirit, I invite that for everyone, whether you're a man or woman. I invite that in. It's raining great men. It's raining great women. It's raining great people. Women are messy too. Men get a bad rap. Oh my God. I swear to God, each gender is so fucking full of it. It's so fucking full of it. Men are pointing their finger at women. Women are pointing the finger at men. Folks, stop pointing fingers and look at the three fingers pointing back at you. Sue wants to say thank you for amazing prayer, Jonathan. Mystic Tarot Cafe says thank you. Deborah says, oops, wait a minute. Where is that? Hi, Jonathan. That test is a great idea. You know what? Okay, so I'm a little bit of a dick, okay? I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm a little bit of a dick. When someone says, how's your day going? And I say, I'm in a funk. How's your day going? It's really, I'm kind of being a dick, okay? But I'm curious. I wonder if someone actually, by the way, on 1 out of every 20 times that happens, I get a genuine kind response back. Anyway, I have given up on, as I feel the apps are our enemy. No one has the inclination to show integrity in their text. So sad. And yet, if you're on, I hope you have integrity. I'm on, I hope I have integrity. Oh, Deborah says you're not a dick. Oh my God, folks, I can be such a dick. I swear to God, I can be such a brat. I know where this comes from. You know what's interesting? I think when growing up, I felt so alone, emotionally speaking. And to get people's attention, I stirred the pot and I began becoming a bit of a dick to get attention. I'm not proud of that behavior. There are layers and layers of this shit that goes back to when I was a child. I did it with my screaming, to get attention, throwing a temper tantrum to get attention. And I think being a dick is just an extension of that. I'm not proud of it, but I'm aware that it happens. Deborah says, love and hugs to you all. Thank you, Jonathan, for your wealth of advice. You're amazing. Oh, thank you. Patty says, I feel the exact same way. I don't like that question. Most people don't care how your day is going, let alone how you feel. Good answer. Thank you for sharing this. You're welcome. Julie wants to come back and say, I don't do dating apps anymore, but how are you in general? First thing to say by many. So what's the thing to say to somebody on a dating app? Use my NICE method, NICE. Use their name in a sentence. Hey, Jonathan, nice to connect with you. I see you have a photograph. So the N stands for name. The I stands for inquisitive. I see you have a photograph where you're wearing a crown. What were you crowned in that photograph? Ask a question. Throw in a compliment. You have great energy from your pictures. And the E stands for emotion, energy, enthusiasm. Just put a fun emoji to create some energy. Nice. NICE. That should be your first message to somebody, is nice. Deborah says, throw a temper tantrum in my direction, please. I would give you hugs, so you deserve it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Sandy says, I hate it even when my friends ask me a text, how's your day going? I don't answer. I tell them, call me back and ask. I just think we're just so conditioned with these devices. It's so impersonal to some degree. Anyway. Lisa says, I ping someone on a dating site. I would say, I love music. I love to sing and dance around the house. What do you like to do that brings you joy? I ask, what's your greatest fear in dating? I'm just being silly. I'm just thinking about that. What's your greatest fear when dating? By the way, it fascinates me how, by the way, folks, you often say, Jonathan, why are you single? Why are you single? Do you realize that I, I, I have women, I write in-depth messages to them and it just, I don't know if they're intimidated or scared, but you guys, you bitch and complain. You want men with depth. And then a man with depth shows up and then you fucking run away. I'm sorry. You guys are fucking, do you realize why we men think you're crazy? Because we give you what you want and you prefer the asshole. You prefer the bad boy. You prefer the emotionally unavailable guy. But the minute someone shows up with depth, you run away and then you complain. Stop fucking complaining, in my opinion. Andrea says, I am guilty. I love that. I'm guilty of the high. How's your day going? Okay. Look who we have in the house, Christine.
Wow. That was quick.
What you got for me?
I'm being brave. I've been listening to you for a long time, Jonathan. It's been some years. I don't know if you remember. We chatted a bit. We kind of found love around the same time, and I was excited about it.
Yeah.
And I end up getting married.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. But this morning I just been crying. It's been
Oh,
difficult. Conflict after conflicts. We got started some counseling,
okay.
and I don't know. But everything you say, it just resonates with me. Is everything that I say and I feel about, especially when I just heard you earlier talking and you shared about whenever I say I need clarity. So I ask the questions that I need to ask, and what I've gotten a lot in the past and with relationships is you ask too many questions.
Okay.
And I said I ask questions for information, for clarity, for understanding, and so
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
I'm angry, so let's just say that I'm angry
so,
right now.
so, okay. So, first off, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. And it kind of sucks to put
Mm,
yourself in a, especially when you marry with someone and then you realize that there's a disconnect between the two of you. Your need for clarity is because you're feeling uncertain. Okay, that's where that need for clarity comes from, uncertainty. What that uncertainty is, you have a fear of most likely a fear of abandonment, but what you really are asking for is certainty. So what he doesn't know is that you're scared. Tim, I'm really scared. I don't feel secure in our relationship. We have differences, we have challenges, we fight sometimes, and I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. And
mm-hmm.
part of that is because I don't feel like you say I ask too many questions, but I'm asking questions because I don't know how you really feel about me. And I hear your words, but then the actions between the two of us oftentimes creates friction between the two of us. And there's a lack of certainty. And I think it's because we really don't know what the purpose of this relationship is. What is the purpose of this relationship? What are we trying to accomplish in this relationship? And because I suspect, Christine, is the two of you don't have a real shared passion with one another. You don't have real one, as I suspect there isn't a shared passion between the two of you, something that the two of you do together with absolute passion. For some people, it's raising children, for those in the early stages of
Right.
in the baby making years. But for those of us in midlife, the challenge is, what's our shared passion in life, or passions? In other words, multiple passions. What do we share together that we do together as a team? And then the most important aspect of relationship that's so under discussed these days is having real, deep, intimate conversations about our fears and our insecurities. You have a need for safety.
Mm.
And the minute you express it, you've been told you're asking too many questions. That's like a parent saying, I don't have time. You like the song, Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, Little Boy and the Man. In other words, the little boy wants connection with the father, and the father is saying, I don't have time for you. When someone says you're asking too many questions or you're being needy, you just want connection in that moment. You want some sense of safety.
Yep. That's it.
So counseling is one place to go. In a couple weeks, I'm interviewing a couple for my channel that they have started an organization called the Eden Group. It's to help couples build stronger union with one another. I'm just doubting he'll want to do it because most men don't do this deep inner work.
Okay.
So are you in relationship with him out of dependency? Do you need him financially in your life?
No, I don't. No, not financially. No.
So if you don't need him financially, then what's the purpose of your relationship?
Well, again, when we met, it's like we were so much alike. You know, it was just that
Oh my God, you
comfortable
like
place.
sushi? Me too. It's like this. I'm sorry I'm interrupting. You like sushi? Me too. You like pickleball? Oh my God, I love it. Do you like the Rolling Stones? Oh my God, I've seen them in concert 5 times. We're so compatible.
All
I
of that.
suspect that's
Yeah,
what I'm being
some
tongue
of
in
that
cheek.
too.
Yeah.
And just two spiritual people, God-centered people. You know what I tell
You two
myself
don't
that I'm
sound like God-centered people, because God-centered people have God-centered conversations with one another.
there you go. There you go. And we got married really, really quick. And then I
I don't
started
believe that
to,
there's anything wrong with getting married fast. I
thank
actually,
you for
what?
that.
In
I'm right
my
there with
opinion,
you.
fuck that bullshit. You know what? If people got married in 60 days, it means, okay, so at least they made a commitment with one another. Now, here's the thing. Are you building a marriage? That's the most important question. Not that you got married. Are you building a life together? Both
We're married,
emotionally, physically,
and we
spiritually.
don't even we don't we don't live together.
Where does he live?
That he lives in his apartment still.
Okay, you don't live together. You're married. Did you guys have marriage to have sex? Did you guys get married to have sex? Did you have sex before marriage?
I did not.
Okay, so you guys got married so you got married so you can get laid.
That's what I'm starting to think. I've had those thoughts. Did you marry me to have sex? Because
Well, yeah, that's
I
why men
definitely
got
was not
married for
going.
thousands of years so we could get laid. By the way, I mean, I'm not suggesting you get a divorce, but I suspect that you have to really sit with, is this the relationship I want? And if this person isn't capable of meeting my needs, then should we just move on?
Right. Right.
Your marriage was mostly, how soon after you met did you two get married? How soon?
We met in May
Yeah.
2022 and married in September
Okay, that's
2020.
about right. Most men won't hold out for more than 4 or 5 months. So you got married. By the way, I'm sorry, this is a very old story. You got married to get laid.
Wow.
But you didn't get married, and you got married under a very limited information. See, that's why you think it's too soon. You had limited information because the two of you really didn't build.
Well,
You
that's
didn't
what I
go in.
hear him say a lot. I don't, believe in that too soon when you're being authentic with one another and you're sharing about yourself and staying open. But he has started, oh, we got married prematurely. I'm like, wow.
Well, then maybe it's possible the two of you should end the relationship. Maybe. Listen, I effectively moved in with someone and she ended the relationship. Okay. We moved in together within 5 months. We lived together for 9 or 10 months and then she moved out. I mean, didn't have to go through the legal aspect of it, but it's the same thing. It's a breakup. It fucking sucks.
Right.
But you know what? I'm grateful beyond words, because if we weren't going to go the distance, then guess what? Then I'm happy that it only lasted a year. I got so many gifts out of it, and I'm now setting myself up for future success. And that's my invitation for you, Christine. Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank
right. Can
you.
I reach in the phone and give you a big, gigantic
It was
Jonathan
great
Bear hug?
talking to you. Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. All right. You be well, Christine.
Bye now.
Bye now. So moving in together too quickly, getting married too quickly. I don't know. You know what? I like the fact that we make commitments fast. Okay. I'm a big proponent of making commitments fast. Okay. What most humans don't do is they really don't know how to get to know another human being. But more importantly, building a relationship with someone is like building a building. It takes time to build the framework. And sometimes you can think you're aligned with someone, like the two of them thought they had so much in common. And what happens is you have some things in common, yeah, but sometimes you start going in different directions, and that's okay too. See, it's not a zero-sum game. The relationships aren't a destination, they're an experience. Some people you get to go the distance with, some people you don't, and that's okay too. My belief is he wanted to get married because he wanted to get laid. Very old narrative. And now she is experiencing who he really is. So if she wants to make a stand for her sovereignty, they already live in separate homes. File for divorce and move on is one possibility if they're not going to actually work on building a life together. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating? Please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what I just shared. Post a comment below. In fact, if you valued this video, please hit the like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos. And if you want to connect with me directly, check out the links below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. Join my group called Midlife Love Mastery. Follow me on Instagram. Get the books I recommend, or get my dating vows, all listed below. All right, I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love, if that's okay. I'm asking you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. I want to thank everyone who donated today. I want to thank Carol and Tracy and Patty and Deborah and Debbie and Michelle, and certainly Christine that was on, and Sue and Lisa and Natty and Andrea and Julie and Rose. Everyone, thanks for the love. Wishing you a super duper wonderful day.